Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BackYourself podcast here in the brand new lab. I am 24 hours removed from ACL reconstruction surgery, so we have changed the scene of the crime for tonight.
Brand new.
But, we will rock up and we will get this podcast done come hell or high water. If that doesn't get a like from you boys, then fucking nothing will.
Screw these cunts, bro.
Appreciate the love and the support here, lads. How are you all? How are you, Christopher? People have been in the streets trying to figure out your upset alert.
They've been begging for me to reveal who's my upset alert. Begging. They're like sitting there, please, man. And then I'm like, nah, I refuse. Because I decided, is my mind. I don't know. I don't think I have. I've got some queries. Some teams I'm like, yeah, they could win, but haven't landed on a team just yet.
So they're going to have to Penrith. Obviously tune into socials because they'll be dropping a few nights from now.
Of course.
It was an interesting round on the look ahead. Obviously, some things have changed. Shout out to the Bulldogs fans in the last 24 hours. There have been some conspiracies, which we will debunk as the podcast goes. But for those on Back Yourself Premium, laying 1.5 with the Bulldogs, getting 7.5 with the Sydney Roosters. And to be honest, if those lose, I've fucking seen everything. But we can head straight into Thursday night football, where ins and outs begins, and we might be here for some time. And it's not on the Bulldogs side because
it is on the Bulldogs.
The Penrith Panthers are going to Accor Stadium on Thursday with literally their B-Tech team. Previously, we have called them NRith. Now they're just Rith because fuck me, they have no one. On the Bulldogs side, Josh Curran comes into the starting side for Viliami Kikau, who has been hospitalised with a skin infection. Harry Hayes, future New South Wales immortal and Australian Kangaroos immortal, is facing 6 weeks on the sideline because he ran too fast to get to the try line, and his hamstring injury sees Daniel Saluka-Fafita added to the bench.
6 weeks? For what?
Wow, they don't even tell you the ins and outs. They're just
they're
giving up. With the top 4 out of reach after Ethan Strange put a dagger into their eye socket, Ivan Cleary has chosen to rest 16 of his frontline players. Back rower Matty Eisenhuth will captain a side that includes premiership winners. Paul Alamati on the wing, Jack Cole at halfback. Okay, let's just go through Penrith 1 to 17.
Brand new captain.
That's the only way that we can truly justify what spread this got to. Dane Laurie, Jesse McLean, Sione Fanau, David Faley. A distant relative of me, apparently. Paul Alamati, Jack Cole, Brad Schneider, Luron Patea, Luke Somerton, Austin Diaz, Zach Lipowicz, Maverick Gaia, Matt Eisenhuth, captain and lock, Samsung, Preston Rickey, Riley Price, and Billy Phillips.
Samsung's back. That's cool.
I've seen everything. So, essentially, the Bulldogs opened this at 4-point underdogs. They're now 20.5-point favourites. I've been punting a long time. I've never seen a 24-point swing in a point spread like this,
It's happened.
But it has happened. And, see, the interesting chatter around this game was this was a 4-point spread in the favour of Penrith on the Sunday. I woke up from surgery with a 1-point line. So it had shifted at about 5 points in the favours of the Bulldogs. So, obviously, we sent out -1.5 on Back Yourself Premium. A few hours later, it was 8-point favourites. And at this point, there's still no news articles, there's no interviews, there's no social media clips. Nothing to suggest why the spread would move so many points.
Yeah.
And this is where alarm bells started ringing of potential conspiracy theories. We can confirm Brandon Smith has not told us that all 16 Penrith players are resting. So don't jump to any fucking conclusions.
Oh, yeah, because we got 1.5. We're part of the same boat.
Yeah, we're part of it. You can make a case that we are the insider traders, but we didn't know shit, to be honest.
Because we would have taken +4.
Yeah.
Which would have been funny, right? Because we actually were... How would we explain if we sent out +4 and then all of a sudden...
There were some all-round geniuses.
Because we actually... Like, when we look at the spreads earlier, before the podcast, we were just like, all right, we have to take dogs. They have to win. Yeah. This and this.
Even before
Penrith are going to get... Before we knew anything.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting. But I don't know what you're doing. Like,
I got to do the actual...
Of course, because, like... People die for the shout-outs. And I know, like, you're under anesthetic still after 24 hours, but we have to go through every single game.
The funniest thing was part of my paperwork after getting off anesthesia was I'm not allowed to make any important decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And 5 minutes later, I sent out dogs -1.5, which was a very important decision. Shout out to you, Matthew, Chris. Shout out to you, Tim, all the other gentlemen that believed they had a moral victory last week when they really didn't. But it's all right. You're going to get an actual free win this round
Did you
instead to
see?
make up for
Actually,
it.
one of the comments was very interesting. Someone said they had 10 line breaks last week.
Yeah.
We actually gave Melbourne more minutes trying than they actually did.
I said 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, okay, but maybe I'm wrong. I actually gave him too many
Shout out
minutes.
to Connor Tracy.
Here we go.
If you squinted and looked hard enough, you might have seen Billy Slater last week in Melbourne. Shout out to Jacob Carraz. Another week of you not playing fullback is always a win. Win, lose, or draw in the final result. Bronson Jerry, 2 weeks without a try, so now I think you will probably score 3. That's what's likely. Stephen Crichton, the man that has the greatest lawyer of all time, continuing to represent him. Because he did eye gouge Ryan Pappenhausen and nobody gives a fuck.
He's innocent.
Shout out to Montoya, the man that played through the riskiest injury in sport, a circumcision. It didn't stop him, so he got out there. Shout out to Burden. 5 weeks since your last good game, so I'm feeling a masterclass from you tonight, mate. Shout out to Galvin. 2 statues down, but they will be rebuilt probably by halftime of this game when they're up 46-0. Shout out to Max King, the only blue you wear. For the sake of the state, hopefully it's the Bulldogs blue and never the sky blue. Shout out to Bailey Hayward. Cameron Smith has been following the squad to continue taking notes of how to play hooker from this man after scoring in his stadium last round. Shout out to Sam Hughes. This probably is the week that you can get your hat trick. If not now, then when? Shout out to Josh Curran. He's a pretty good player. Why not? Shout out to Preston. Continues to prove that he will captain Australian Kangaroos and New South Wales one day.
Nice.
Shout out to Salmon, NYPD, LAPD. No one can get through to this man's phone, and he continues to hide in a private vault photos of both Seraldo and Gus. What will it take to get this man?
This one he seems to expand. That's Salmon's one.
Kurtman, Academy bleeds maroon. Tupanua made it through last week unscathed. So again, I ask, will it be your hamstring or your shoulder charge that kicks you out of this game? Saluka Fafita is back. If Haas ever goes down, I feel good knowing that he can replace him. And shout out to Reid Marnie. 20 minutes the week before, 9 minutes last round. I wonder how many you get this week. Now, currently, as Canterbury's 18th best hooker. Shout out to Seraldo, the guy that doesn't watch the podcast. Shout out to Gus, the guy that didn't know Galvin but signed him. 20.5 is your point spread, Chris. Do you even give a fuck about this game?
No, well, look, okay. I don't think... I want the people to, like, really come back in the comments on this. I don't think the point spread needs to be discussed.
I agree.
Because I feel like it's just a... They've thrown a number out there and they've like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, good luck.
I think the main talking point is who the fuck knew and how they figured it out. My point is...
What's your theory?
My theory is twofold. One of them being, it had to be someone at Enrith. Like, I don't think Dogs figured it out.
No.
And someone at Enrith has told someone with a lot of money to push this, right? Because it wasn't public knowledge.
No, as I said, no reports, no tweets, Instagram posts.
Nothing.
There was nothing to suggest that. The earliest report was, hey, we think Nathan Cleary might be arrested.
Correct.
But at that point, the point spread had already shifted for hours.
Yeah.
So we go from 4.5 to 1.5 to 8.5, all on the back of
Maybe Cleary's
news,
out.
Maybe Cleary's out. And even as early as 2 p.m. of this afternoon, it was still 8.5.
Yeah, correct.
So no one had actually figured out the extent of it's literally the entire roster that's not playing until 30 minutes before lineups were released. So in my opinion, either someone's leaked information to the bookies for them to get ahead of the curve. And I wonder actually when they did change it to Pick'em, if there was pushback on Penrith because no one at this point knew that none of the Penrith players were playing. Or theory number 2 is someone's leaked information to the punters who have backed the Dogs from $2.50 into $1.08. Either way, I think we have a big fucking problem on our hands, and I wouldn't be surprised if weeks from now there is some sort of reporting.
There has to be.
Someone else has already had allegations put against him, which we're not going to comment on. But as far as this particular game goes, in my life of following footy to this extent, I haven't seen this sort of fucking movement without any information ever being relayed. So that does how did the bookies know, or did they not know? How the fuck did the punters know?
Well, they got it on the worst game, right? Melbourne did rest Stars as well, which we'll get to them a bit later. But if you got Roosters, which you could still get, you could have got it till 3:55 that they were going to rest Stars, and you could still get Roosters. the fact this happened on Monday is like the biggest part. And no news. I mean, I was catching the Metro around, it was 2:40 p.m. and it was already $1.70. And what fucked the bookies was if they changed it their own, they fucked it themselves. Because you sit there, I sat there, and a lot of professional, like, I'm not going to give us that much credit because I'm sure a lot of people did it, and just back Bulldogs. We didn't know shit.
No, we were discussing it, right? And I was like, Chris,
we didn't know anything.
I literally woke up from anesthesia fucking 20 minutes ago, and I'm like, Chris, why the fuck are Dogs 1.5? He's like, I don't know. I was like, I don't either, but there has to be a reason. I'm just going to send it out. I didn't think it's going to get to 20.5, but here we are.
So to your point, what you were saying is, the bookies knew, so they adjusted it, but they fucked themselves anyway. Like, they still paid $1.70 and 1.5 to us.
Yeah.
So I actually don't think it was them.
It's probably more likely the punters.
That's when there will be a story in a couple of weeks' time, for sure. Someone has done something really bad, and it's made the news. Like, it's literally a case of the bookies are out there being like, how the fuck did Cuts figure this out?
Yeah,
because we're fucked.
That information wasn't publicly made available. But anyway, now that we're going past the fucking punting conspiracy side of things, you guys let us know what your comments are your thoughts are in the comments below. But as far as the actual game goes, I feel like we were robbed of a good contest.
100%.
Obviously, Penrith coming in 2 games loss in a row. That Ethan Strange to Kyle Weeks moment has kind of changed the landscape of what's going to be happening in the last 2 weeks. You saw Melbourne give up, which we're going to get to them, but at this point, Penrith, after playing 3 Golden Point games in their last 4, because Titans conveniently made it to Golden Point with these morons as well. Now we're at a stage where even if they win their last 2 games, they don't have the
top 4
mathematical chance of making the top 4. So they're kind of looking at each other like, from the Penrith side of things, totally makes sense. Like, why the fuck would you guys go run out all your troops off a Golden Point, heartbreaking loss, to go and try against Dogs where you actually have nothing to gain out of it? And on the Dog side, I really wanted to see how they would try and bounce back from the Melbourne game against Penrith, who they have fucking lost to earlier in the year. Again, another moral victory that they had in that game. If it wasn't for the challenge, convenient. You can't get so many moral victories.
No
you
victory.
Don't actually get any victories. Anyway, I thought it was a good chance to get a gauge of where both these teams were coming off 2 straight losses, but now it's just a foregone conclusion that Penrith are just running out dirt and Dogs is going to beat them for no reason, which also plays into next round where this affords Dogs the chance to just beat a B-Tech side this round and then rest everyone against Sharks, which they might not have had that luxury.
Which we'll call out right now. Whatever they open that Dogs Sharks game, it doesn't matter when they open it. It's going to be wrong. Like it's not. They cannot price it right ever. Because next week they're not going to. I don't even know what they would price it.
Do you think the Dogs would do essentially what Penrith's doing this round and just the whole team is just not?
They have
play?
to.
That's what I would say.
I mean, they're going to play Melbourne. No matter what.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty much locked up.
If they win this week, they're going to play Melbourne. Warriors will not win both games, and Warriors have no incentive to play both games and fucking kill themselves to get over Dogs. So, essentially, they're going to finish third. The only thing I don't like what Penrith did is essentially puts them in a position they don't have a home final. But now thinking about it, it's not like they're playing a blue bet anyway.
They don't even have a home.
So knowing these motherfuckers, they're not going to let Sharks play at points bet because it's too small. They have that discussion every year. These cunts make the finals. They'll be like, yeah, let's move it to Bank West, and then it ends up being Penrith's home. So we'll see what they do. But it does deprive them of that. I think the worst case scenario is they go play Brisbane in Brisbane. But the only way they would do that is if Brisbane lose this week or next.
In my opinion, Chris, I think both sides are actually fucked over by how this week's played out, in my opinion.
With everyone else, yes.
Penrith, sure, you get the bye this round and you get rest, but we've seen that teams are pretty much incapable of coming from outside the top 4 and winning a premiership. So, sure, you get the rest this round, but you're going to go into a situation where you're going to go to Brisbane, then you're going to play Dogs at Accor, then you might go to Canberra, then you'll play Melbourne. I still give Penrith enough respect that they could beat any of these teams in a one-off game, but stringing them back to back to back to back is too much of an ask. So in my opinion, their premiership credentials are pretty much over. On the Dogs side, you will get the win on the ladder, you will get the win and the guaranteed third spot, and then you'll get the rest in the last round, which you really haven't earned with your recent form. But you don't really get any gauge of where you guys are actually at. And the most recent gauge we'll get is you got raped by Tigers, you beat Waz, which was good in and of itself, and then you got fucking raped by Roosters and raped by fucking Melbourne as well. So you're going in with awful form, and we really won't get to see the best side of you until you run out there 2 weeks from now in Melbourne, where
Melbourne's resting too. That's the other thing.
Melbourne's going to be rested and waiting for you guys the same way you're waiting for them. So I feel like we're robbed of a good contest, and we're robbed of information on both of these teams heading into the finals. But unfortunately, with how things line up, where Raiders and Melbourne are so far ahead of everyone, and Penrith now, after their fucking 200 wins in a row, to get off the bottom of the ladder, just fall short of the top four. It's kind of how it's played out, and this just becomes a nothing burger of a game on a Thursday. But punting wise, it's fucking great for us. But as far as a spectacle, if anyone doesn't watch this game, I wouldn't blame them, because who the fuck wants to watch those Penrith bums run out there?
No one. No one. The bit of conspiracy theory for Matt. Did Gus tell fucking Ivan to pack it up this week? I mean, because we were guaranteeing, I've said this for weeks, and Matt can back me up on this as well. I've been saying for weeks they're going to quit the last round. Because they need the rest. They've had the buys were all stacked at the front of the year, and they couldn't get it to the end, and they're going to have to play Melbourne. So essentially getting this win gets you third. Otherwise, you'd have to go to Canberra. Or, if not worse, if you lost to a full-strength Penrith, you could drop to 5th, 6th. And look, a lot of this is going to get cleared up past today. Like, we're not going to know exactly what it is until 2 weeks' time when no one gives a fuck. But it kind of, when you sit back and think about it, you're like, well, it's convenient that these cunts just fucking get a $4 game. Like,
yeah.
And I get and it makes sense from a Penrith side, but
it does annoy me.
Does Penrith, are they that smart that they thought, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to finish 7th and we don't give a fuck who we go to? Or is it more something else? But I have to give it credit as what the information is. Penrith, in my opinion, made the right move. Doesn't mean they can win the comp. Fuck no, I strike them out last year, but it's their best chance to win it by doing this.
I agree.
So who cares about Thursday? Let's get the power.
Let's move on. Shout out to the Waz. Shout out to Seabass and Joel Coddington, the 2 ambassadors of Parramatta. Your Parramatta Eels are going to New Zealand 6 p.m. on a Friday as 4-point underdogs to take on the Waz, who, unlike Penrith, are still gunning for a top 4 spot. And this is how the teams line up. My job's easy in this one. 1-17 on the Waz side, 1-17 on the Eels side. 2 teams that didn't want to change a winning formula from last round, and now they go head-to-head, with the Warriors playing for a lot more than the Eels, but the Eels haven't been playing for much lately, but they've been playing bloody good since Mitch got back. As the ambassador of Warriors hate and the man that started down the wires, will you be betting against them another week in a row?
Of course. I mean, my job isn't done yet. Now, until the end of the year, I have to bet against them. I think this week and next week are the better weeks. Last week, I wasn't that confident. I'm confident in Para. Simply because Titans was a freebie. I don't think Titans will lose to anyone, which we'll get to them a bit later. And essentially, you try a little bit against Titans and they'll give up.
Yeah.
Warriors, this game, potentially, and we're saying this is I apologize. I'm going to say this from now because literally a lot of our thought process on all these games are going to be implications on the table more than anything else. Warriors have to win. Simple. I think they will give up the last game, especially that they have to go to Manly. And that's not going to be fucking fun because you're going a one-off to Manly to come back and play Penrith. Right? So I don't think they're going to go to fucking Manly and try. They're going to give up and give Manly a free win. Which means this week is all the more important to make sure you finish in the top 4. Now, the other 2 that are chasing them between Brisbane and Sharks, I don't think they want the end of the season to come because, one, they love the regular season. They love to win the games. But also, they're in flying form and they both seem like they're going to win out. So for Warriors, to keep them at bay, essentially, they have to win this game. And that's a lot of pressure against a team that I know and you know are just going to throw the footy around. And what I don't like about betting, especially -4 against a team that's just going to throw they score garbage. It could be they're up fucking 8 and last minute Mitch fucking kicks the ball to Lomax, catches it, and eventually they lose by 2. And Warriors still get the win, but because Power was just rolling the dice, they lose by 2 and they cover the 4.5. That could be this sort of game. But if the Warriors don't play like they did last week and play as awful as they had before that, especially that Dragons game, the Knights game, the Titans game they lost, What other games did they lose? The Dogs game they played. If they play anywhere near to that level, they'll literally lose to Para. And because Para right now, even the point spread is telling you, they're playing and they are a top 8 team as we speak.
Yep.
And they may not have shown that against South, but last week showed enough for me that these cunts, like, they're running into the end of the year. It doesn't matter what's in front of them because, like you mentioned in the podcast last week, is that Para should give up, but they just don't. They're just good.
They're playing for Riles.
They're just playing for Riles, and I think that continues in this one. I think there's too much pressure on the Wires to get this done.
This is the interesting thing about how the books go about pricing teams of how much weight do you put for what the team's been the whole year and then how much do you put into what the team's recently been. If this was another fucking team that had a different logo to Para and you're looking at their recent performances of going to Brisbane and winning and ending their fucking rampage, beating the Roosters and ending their rampage, and 6-point loss to Melbourne. And now the more we look at it, that 2-point loss to Souths was more of an aberration than anything because Souths apparently are now possessed in Bali. So
now the betters were on their side.
It seems to me as if that after raping Roosters for you, now the fucking world has woken up and like, oh, this Para team's actually respectable. We'll put them 4.5 to Warriors. Obviously, Warriors played much better last week by dismantling the existence of Titans, who, as I said, while Warriors were trying to put the dagger in, they took it and did this to themselves.
Yeah.
But I think, in my eyes, the spread's right. Warriors probably still, with, as I mentioned, the incentive to make the top 4. I think, irrespective of what happens, because they are so far higher of Penrith and Penrith have given up, Warriors are guaranteed a home final at some point of these semis. Whether they come forth and go get raped by Raiders and then get it in week 2, or they end up hosting Penrith, Dolphins, Roosters, whichever moron makes it, you will see Warriors playing at Mount Smart Stadium at some point.
100%.
Definitely what they deserve, and I'm happy for all the Wires fans. Shout out to my Gs. You had a good enough year to be hosting a finals game at some point. In saying that, do I want to lay 4.5 with them? I think I could only play the Wires, seeing that Para literally had one line break last week, and now they're going all the way to 4.5 when they have nothing to play for. That kind of was a kitchen sink spot for them last week, and now... Did they play at home next week, or do they go to Newcastle?
No, they play at home. It helps them to go home.
Sandwiched between destroying the existence of Roosters, you have to go and play a hungry, desperate Warriors team with a really physically imposing forward pack that has just gotten really healthy out of nowhere, and then come back home to destroy what's left of Adam O'Brien's Knights. Will he even be there? We'll have to talk about him at some point. I feel like this is not a good spot to take Para, really. Like, you'd just be banking on, well, they can just throw the footy around and score enough to keep it within the point spread. But if I had to lay it with a side, I would take the Wires in this one. Not saying that maybe if this was a pick 'em at Bankwest, I probably would take Para. It's kind of similar rationale to why you said, why the fuck would you take Dolphins last week? Where you were like, if this was in Redcliffe, then yeah, they probably would throw the footy around and actually
win.
try.
Yeah.
But why the fuck would they go to Brookvale and try? Which
Correct.
I was totally wrong, right? They went there and gave up. I kind of feel like this is a similar situation where Para, there's no reason for you guys to go to... Just like, go chill, lose the Warriors, give them their top 4 berth, and come home and annihilate Knights. That's what I'm thinking.
I feel like they've been begged to give up, and they just haven't. That's why I'm like sick of fuck it. Like, I'll just take them again. And like for weeks, we've just been saying the South game burnt us because at that point they've been adjusted. But the books were so quick to adjust them the other way because they were playing the godsend Roosters, which we'll get to next, who are not gods anymore, as we can clearly see this week, and the point spread.
What a difference a week makes.
But I just take the hot team. I think the Warriors, like, at this point, they don't have, like, Chanel and who's playing Tanner Boyd. Joey Johns, Egan and Chansey in a game that you need them to cover 4 points and you need them to fucking win. Yeah, I could see them winning by 2 or some shit, but maybe they lose. Like, I'm taking the best half.
You think they can actually lose?
Yeah. I'm taking the best half on the team and
on the
pitch. And there's nothing that's shown me from Moses' any of his games, even the loss to South, that like he's even going to take a backward step against fucking Chanel.
Yeah,
like this cunt's possessed right now, and I'll take the possessed cunt.
I think the interesting thing was the fact that Para actually won the forwards to Roosters last week, which I think that kind of did catch me off guard. Yeah. Can they go to New Zealand against that forward pack right now, boasting Fisher Harris and Capewell and Halsey? It will be hard for them, but I think we've been betting like which way the number's going to move and blah, blah, blah. Whereas it hasn't really mattered the last week or two because it's like, which team's still trying?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Are Paris still trying? Possibly, but I know it's a kitchen sink spot for Warriors, so I'd rather play that angle than anything else.
I want to take Knights in the
Speaking
last
of
round.
kitchen sink, your
This
Sydney
is it.
Roosters, Chris, shout out to Barnsey. A very special shout out to J-Mass. Happy birthday to you, mate. I hope your team
Happy
wakes
birthday,
up
champion.
and gets a fucking victory for you.
They have
Because
to.
they are going to Melbourne and playing Elburn this round. Bellamy has said, you know what, I'm not going to do what Ivan Cleary is doing, but I'll do half of it. And next week I'll do the other half. So Hughes can go and beat Broncos by himself. On the Storm side, Bronson Garlick takes over for Harry Grant after the egregious act that he did to get 2 weeks.
shit cunt.
What a dog. While Ativalu Lissetti joins the bench in the place of Kamakamika. Xavier Coates, Nick Meaney, Eli Katoa, Josh King are all being rested. Sulangi, Timalatu, Brown and Kane Bradley are the new wingers and Grant Anderson moves to centre. Alec McDonald starts at prop for shits and gigs. Sean Blow returns from an ankle injury and Nelson is also added to the bench. Will Warbrick is listed among the reserves and might have a run out before they go and destroy Broncos with just Hughes by himself. On the Rooster side of things, Hugo
Here we
Savala
go.
moves to halfback and Sandon Smith, brand new 5'8", returns, replacing Sam Walker after his infamous concussion. Poor Roosters. How could you imagine them winning a game without him? Daniel Tupou returns, but yeah, he returns through his concussion that he suffered apparently when you saw him at the cast. He
was so
got a
concussed.
concussion at the poker table.
Yeah.
No changes in the elite forward pack to the Sydney Roosters loss
gave up to
Dylan Walker by himself. 3.5 is your point spread. I cannot believe Roosters are getting points.
That's incredible.
What happened? I thought they were the greatest team of all time. Can you make sense of why they're getting
Nah,
points in this?
I can't. It is perfect to take Roosters. Like, there's no... Like, it should be my upset alert. It realistically should be pick 'em. But if I was hunting value, I'd take a lot of fucking other teams in the other round. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys by saying upset alert Roosters. The only incentive I have by taking Roosters upset alert is that I don't think I've ever gone 6 out of 7 ever in the podcast history. So you could say, and a lot of people would say, I'm due a loss. And what would be entertaining is that Roosters fuck it up because it's a win and a loss for me. The loss is I lose upset alert, but the win is Roosters losing and not making the 8. So that kind of has tempted me. But essentially, this should be pick 'em, if not Roosters' favourite. Are you cunts fucking on drugs? Why would Melbourne give a shit?
They don't.
Now, I don't want to give... Like, I actually don't care about the Melbourne lineup because, again, like I said last week, I don't care... I remember, I don't know if, Jack, you watched the podcast. If you do, you were mentioning to me, oh, bro, Lomax might be out, blah, 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 what Clarkey was saying about Lomax. It doesn't matter if he plays or not. Roosters will fuck it up to themselves. And that's my... can be my point for this game as well. Only Roosters could fuck up this game. Realistically.
Come on.
Like... They're not going to lose to Bradley. They're not going to lose because Grant Anderson has come out of a new skin and rapes Robert Toyer. It is literally Roosters making another 22 errors and losing to this team. That's the only way. But realistically, you can't keep thinking of it that way and keep working. Unless I'm like some sort of wizard and no Roosters, which I do, but I think this game they win. What's interesting, and you're going to laugh at this really hard, so I hope it doesn't hurt your knee. It's fascinating that Katoa has been rested this week so that he could go out next week and have Hughes and Katoa next to each other and rape the shit out of them.
Broncos for no reason at all.
Look,
truly, we've sent this out at, I think, Roosters $2.80 is what we sent it out on Back Yourself Premium. If you're not on Back Yourself Premium, you need to wake up and get on. Yeah. Roosters, in my eyes, if I was pricing this, I'd put them $1.70. Come on.
You can't mess
You're
this up,
literally playing
surely.
Munster and fucking Pappy by themselves. They're running out nappy at starting at fucking front row. I mean, shout out to JB, shout out to Jeremy. I've said for weeks that Melbourne are running out nothing and they keep winning, but I mean, this is ridiculous. For Roosters to go and lose to them again. And again, like, harping on this fucking motivation garbage. The 1 week we do it, all the motivated cunts are going to lose somehow. Yeah. But truly, Melbourne do not give a rat's ass about this game. And this goes back to fucking Raiders winning last week. Maybe... I actually don't even think Melbourne would give a shit about the minor premiership either way. Coming off the grand final loss, they're just like, look, we just want to win the premiership. Whoever wins minor premiership, we don't give a shit. And Bellamy has kind of alluded to that by resting half his team. What do you think about the resting half and then resting the other half next
That's
week?
the best idea. Look, I think it's the best way. Not that you can be competitive, is that you don't know what happens in the grand final. Someone like Wishart, who will likely be on the bench come game day, on grand final day, he might need to play a half. God knows what happens to Hughes. God knows what happens to Munster. And you need to switch it around for that to happen. I don't like the whole out and whole in scenario.
What Ivan's done.
I get what Penrith's doing, and it makes sense. They want to destroy Dragons. But look, this is where I don't understand some of these teams, and I don't think they've thought this through. Melbourne, if they finish second, hypothetically they should, have literally bought themselves the dream draw. And all because of Penrith.
Okay.
Because they can't even get Penrith now.
Yeah, I know.
So they're literally going to beat the shit out of Dogs, play the winner of Broncos and Sharks or Roosters, who cares, in the prelim.
Yeah. And they just walk into the grand final.
A walk into the grand final, while the other side is going to be Dogs Penrith second round, and then the Raiders will play the winner of that, and then after they're all destroyed, then they go play Melbourne, who are literally asleep. I reckon they don't even need Hughes until the grand final.
Can I tell you something funny as fuck? I was looking at future markets today. Guess what? To make the grand final, guess what price Melbourne is?
Oh, $1.40?
$1.32.
That's too long, or it's still too much.
So literally $1.30 to fucking make it, for God's sake. So at this point, they've proven what they've needed to prove, right? This whole month.
Again, it goes to not giving a fuck.
Without Pappenhausen, they just literally have beaten all of their competition outside of Raiders with no players. And the streak started with them beating Roosters. Well, and with them beating Roosters, I really hope not, for Roosters' sake. I mean, come on, boys. There's no... I'm fascinated that they're still fucking $2.30. This is ridiculous.
That's insane. But again, Roosters have all the motivation. They have to win.
People
that want to explain why they don't... Like, we are going to say this. This is another line. Dolphins Raiders next week. Dolphins will open at $4 and close at $1.10.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. So, unless they fuck it up the Titans this week, which is very unlikely because Titans, we don't know what they're going to show up with, but essentially they're awful. Roosters have to win both games. Dolphins have a better differential and are only 2 points behind.
Yeah.
So, Roosters have to win both. Next week is not going to make it any easier. This week is probably the easier out of the two, you could argue.
They got lucky, bro.
I know they did, but this one is probably easier out of the two because I know South next week are going to be motivated through Brandon Smith's betting allegations. So, because he's going to play with South, we'll get to that.
Next week they'll get Latrell and Jack White.
And Murray's playing.
And
Murray will play, Brandon Smith will play, Walker will play.
Yeah.
It's essentially full strength outside of Campbell Graham. Like
convenient
to ready to destroy the Roosters season and derail it completely.
This is why I'm saying they're lucky, because
this week could have been hard.
If Melbourne was like competing for the fucking minor premiership or something, they would actually get pumped this round. And then by the end of the week, after Dolphins destroy Titans, they would look up and be like, holy fuck, we're actually 10th. For no reason as well.
Yeah.
But the way that the fucking cookies
crumble... Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
If you guys are going to get fucking no Katoa, no outside backs, Wishart and co, and you go and lose to them for the 50 billionth time, then I actually would rather at this point see Dolphins in the 8, because you guys would really piss me off. But I'm confident. I'm guaranteeing a Roosters win.
No, I think
literally can't go and lose to this Melbourne team.
I agree. I think they'll win as well.
Okay. Moving on to
Here
3 p.m. Shout out to Harry, Charlie, you, me. I didn't want it after the last round. They really pissed me off. The West Tigers are excited and are going to Canberra as 12.5-point underdogs to take on my Canberra Raiders, who are still, can you hear that? They're still in Muzzy clubbing after what happened at the end of that game. Let's look at ins and outs. Powerhouse winger Savilio Tamale returns with the unfortunate news that one of the back yourself favourites, Javier Savage, is out for the rest of the season with a fractured shoulder. A very timely return from Tamale to replace him. Adam Dewey with facial fractures is out, seeing La Tufani promoted to start at halfback. Heath Mason joins the bench. Staffatoa returns from a shoulder injury, which sees Brent Naden make way in this one. I would say this is the ultimate who gives a fuck game of the round. Because I'm
going to make you care about it.
Okay. The floor's yours, Mr. Upset Alert. What do you got for me?
Here they come.
You moron.
I'm actually, I'm becoming more confident this week than I was last week.
Why?
Then why
I've given up on the year.
Yeah, well, that's what we've perceived. See, people have a great perception, and this happened last week, that Para had given up. And Tigers are not in the realm that they wouldn't give up because they will. But you cunts are 1 week early because here they come for no reason. And Raiders, like you said, I still don't think they've left Mudgee yet.
They're still close.
And one team that has named everyone that will see Melbourne lose the day before, hypothetically, why would they give a fuck about Tigers? In any capacity whatsoever, who gives a fuck?
Their incentive is, hey, we can destroy this team and then give up in the following round.
I agree. But that's the again, that's a perception of everyone. We're going to give up to Dolphins, which we know you cunts are going to. You're not going to go to Redcliffe and try. Now, if Melbourne win, I still don't think that changes because I think Raiders intrinsically know they will be minor premiers and they know next week Brisbane has a lot more to play for than Melbourne and Melbourne will fuck it up next week regardless. But the issue is they're still fucking only 2 points behind. And that's the biggest problem right now. So Melbourne essentially, why I don't want to do this upset alert is because I have to record it the day before. And I want to know what happens in this Melbourne game because hypothetically Raiders could wake up Saturday morning and see themselves second.
Yeah.
And that will be enough for me to be like, all right, they're going to dismantle Tigers 270-0 to make sure they can quit. So this all my upset alert relies on Roosters, and I don't want that to happen because I'm relying on a shit cunt team, and I'm
Which
good.
we don't like to do.
And I can't rely on Roosters winning that game because who knows? They might do 25 errors, and they could do it. But intrinsically, if I got it and Roosters if you're guaranteeing me Roosters victory on Friday, Tigers will be my upset alert. Why would Raiders give a fuck?
See, a lot of what you're saying makes sense and would be
Valid.
accurate for most NRL teams, but
Tigers have
I
given
feel
up.
like this season, the way Ricky has got these boys fired up, they're very self-motivated. They don't look at fixtures like, oh, we need to fucking win this, but we can chill in that one. They have approached every game the same way, and it's very seldom that they have a flat spot. And I think the incentive for them is there, regardless of whether Melbourne win or not, that this is our last game in Canberra until we fucking host some degenerate in week 1 of the finals. Tigers are coming to town, then they've been up for a while, and I think the way they lost that Cowboys game was quite deflating for them. Obviously, Luai, shout out to Crazy Praying Mantis, looked quite frustrated in the press conference. They almost looked humiliated in a way, which you cunts should be humiliated for what
that
you
was
cunts
awful.
did out
I agree.
in front of the Leichhardt faithful to give up to Cowboys like that was just stupid. So now they're going to go to Canberra and take on probably Canberra trying to show their best one more time before. They literally run out Chevy Stewart and co, as you mentioned last round, at Dolphins, where they're going to be 12.5-point underdogs by the time kickoff comes around. Herbie's going to be back, by the way. So
Why?
He's healed to destroy fucking...
Who's going to play centre? Me?
Not even Timoko, God knows. Sasangi.
Well,
That'll be 15.
What Melbourne's done is ingenious almost. Raiders hope they lose this week because, Melbourne could win that Brisbane game.
Yeah, I know. If Melbourne win, Raiders might just... I actually think Raiders don't give a fuck about the minor premiership. They're just going to, accidentally win it because Melbourne has given up so much.
I think Melbourne will lose this week.
What I'm saying is, if Melbourne win out, either way, I don't think Raiders will try at Dolphins.
I don't think Raiders will try at Dolphins no matter what. I agree.
The rationale won't be, oh, we want to win.
Why would they go to Redcliffe and try
who gives
when
a
they
fuck?
have to come home? No way.
Exactly right. So, in saying that, the motivation's probably the same for both of these clubs. Tigers, they're just playing for pride, and Raiders are playing for to just continue what they've been doing. But I think the weakness of the Tigers is still their forward pack. They've got some battlers in there. And when the going gets tough, they just don't have the firepower to match this Raiders team. I'm not saying I'd be thrilled to lay 12.5. I don't think there's a great betting sides either of this. Honestly, I would probably just take overs.
I was going to say overs.
Yeah. Tigers, at this point, they don't even give a fuck. They're just going to throw the footy around. Raiders probably are not going to defend their tails off because they're still clubbing in Mudgee.
And Tigers.
And Tigers will concede at probably 30 points to them regardless. So
I agree. Overs.
as funny as it would be to take Tigers, the last couple of weeks with us has kind of just been ride the team until they give up and then just quit on them.
Yeah.
Except when Para gave up to South, you had to back them again so they can destroy Roosters for you. But I can't push that with Tigers because I know they're going to give up.
Speaking of
giving up, shout out to
Zarafos brothers.
the favourites of the Back Yourself podcast.
I might be joining them on this
in
day.
probably the funniest game of the season.
I
The
agree.
St. George Illawarra Dragons take on your Manly Seagulls. And if I told you in round 1 that this would be a pick-em by round 26, you'd probably be shaking your head and calling me crazy, but that's where we are. 60 points last round and you pick him the Dragons. Wow, I've seen everything.
Dragons.
Plenty of reinforcements for the Red V. Well deserved because they literally ran out with 12 players last round.
Why even bring them back?
Jaden Sewer, Jack DeBellin, and Jaime Sele are all back on deck. Luciano Leilua reverts to the bench, and Ben Murdoch-Masila drops out of the team.
Thank
Altogether, Damien Cook goes back to hooker, and Jacob Little back to the bench. Tyrell Sloan has been recalled on the wing at the expense of Queensland legend Corey Allen.
Damn.
Winning form is good form. Apparently, one win is winning form. For Anthony Seibold, which is going with the same 17
He hasn't fired him yet?
that belted the Dolphins in round 25. Classy young playmaker Joey Walsh has been named as the 18th man. Who gives a fuck?
These cunts are gonna win.
This is
This
this
easy.
round just goes from torture to torture.
This is probably the easiest bet. Ride the wave. Dragons have given up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Even with the reinforcements, they only quit?
Oh yeah. I think Dragons in a brand new world next week are going to be 14.5 plus against Penrith. Not Enrith, Penrith, because they're all going to try. And they will magically complete the greatest thing I've ever seen and cover that game and not cover this one. Because this is Dragons. Manly 13 plus.
Why?
Because I'm riding the hot hand. They're going to destroy them for no reason. And it doesn't mean Manly are going to make the 8 because hypothetically it's all up to Dolphins if they want to make it or not and Roosters. But in my opinion, Manly is just going to have that, you know, that like team that's always there. Oh, bro, we have like an 8% chance to make the finals. That's Manly. They won't. If they lose this, they're done. And I just don't see that happening. They have to drag it onto that Warriors game. And it makes that Warriors game a whole lot more interesting because Warriors will not be safe because Broncos and Sharks hypothetically this week are going to both win. So that game doesn't mean that they're going to make the top 4 even if they win this week. So unless Warriors obviously lose this week and then Manly will dismantle them because, well, Warriors can't come 4th. But I just think Manly will win this. Dragons, like, I get it. Last game at Cogra for the Bellens as well, but I think this team after last week is just giving it up, and it was probably their worst performance. They didn't look like scoring. Manly will let you score, but my concern is on the defensive end. To let South, with just fucking Seawalks coming off the bench, score 40 points. Like, Manly last week showed that if your defense is paper thin, they will score on you, and they put 60 on Dolphins. I don't think your defense is that bad compared to Dolphins, but I know your offense isn't the Dolphins. So that's my issue, and I'd rather take the team that I know will be able to score and continue their season to be alive for no reason, essentially. But, yeah, I'll take Manly.
I'm a very big advocate that there's value in 95% of NRL games because of they're just so poorly priced, like majority of the time. And that's why you realize it can't to be like, bro, you guys are so greedy, you bet on every NRL game. Like, this is not the NFL, cunt. Half these fucking games are priced as dirt. There's like 6-point spread movements every game for no reason. In saying that,
NFL's coming.
this is a pick'em, and I can't debate that either side deserves to be favoured in this game. I think it's rightfully a pick'em. Dragons, if we're going off last week's form, you can't going to lose 70-0. If we're going off the players that you have, these are the same bums that beat the top 4 16 games in a row and kept covering. And this is the same building that they've covered 50 games in a row.
And beat Manly in last year.
And beat Manly in last year for you. On the other side, Manly, you can't have one win, and now I feel like being pick'em to Dolphins at home was actually stupid. Of like, you can't sound that bad. But now to be pick'em at Dragons when really if we're going to extrapolate this to like the last 2 months of the NRL, Dragons have been 10 times better than these
100%.
So I feel like Dragons will actually fire up for Flanagan. They're not a team that normally gives up back-to-back rounds. But having said that, is there like an accumulation effect of they tried for so long and now they need to quit for just as long? That's where I actually have no idea either way. I prefer Manly win because it would just make things a bit more interesting. And I feel like they have a little bit of their confidence back after actually having their attack click last round when, even in the Tigers game, right, the possession they did have, it looks like they just were fucking out of answers and the frustration would boil of, like, when have you seen Cherry Evans just peg the footy out trying to cut out to Lehigh and it goes to fucking the third row of the stands. Like, that's not the Manly we're used to seeing. Like you said, Turbo looked a lot healthier last week. In the afternoon sort of environment, they normally do play better, but now that Dragons are somewhat healthier, they have been playing better footy and they're getting back, cult heroes like Jack DeBell and trying to send them off in the best way possible, knowing that instead of playing Penrith next week, how unlucky are these pricks? They're going to go play Penrith next round for no reason.
They'll try next week. That's my point.
This might be their last win, and I actually don't think there is a side worth taking in this game. I would completely pass it. Overs.
Or overs.
And here comes the thriller in Manila, ladies and gentlemen, with a very key player movement.
Yes, he's back.
The last game of 2025 for these
Thank God.
cocksuckers. The Cowboys are taking on their older brothers, the arch rivals, the Brisbane Broncos, in a fixture that really has given me a lot of good moments over the years where JT and co were taking on Ben Hunt and co back in the day. We had the 3 consecutive Golden Point. Thriller in Manila's between the sides. They met in a grand final. That was probably the best grand final of any sport I've ever seen. And now they take each other on at Townsville Stadium where the Broncos are making a top 4 push and the Cowboys probably should be fucking dead last, but they're not for whatever reason. On the back of an arousing comeback.
What was arousing?
Todd Payton sticks with the same morons that dismantled Tigers. Skipper Adam Reynolds is listed among the reserves as he closes in on a return from a hamstring injury to return and fuck Reece Walsh over and have them average 12 points a game like back when he was there. Accor returns from a concussion after being out for 50 rounds in a row. Your spread is at 5.5, 6.5, depending on where you're shopping. Chris, who is going to win the Battle of Queensland? The Queenslanders in Brisbane or the cowards in the Cowboys side of things?
I kind of want to take Cowboys. It's kind of fun.
What's fun about it? You're going to throw the footy around?
Yeah. Look, I think we've sat here and...
For 25 rounds,
for 20...
Cowboys suck.
No. We've sat here the last couple of weeks and just assumed, most weeks, that Sharks and Broncos are just going to win. And it's worked. Broncos have only lost the one game. In their last 10, they've literally lost that Para game for you, and that's it.
And the Melbourne one.
Yeah, but it doesn't count. Because you can't
Sharks lost to Dragons, and that was it as well.
Yeah. And they literally win every game.
Yep.
Sharks, I actually think it's impossible to lose either of the last 2.
Yeah, you can't lose to Knights.
You can't lose to Knights, and you can't lose to what Dogs are going to run out there next week.
They are 100% guaranteed 2 wins.
But Brisbane...
They could lose.
They could lose. And likely everyone's going to think, they'll lose next week because Hughes is back and Katoa will play and Warbrick will probably play. But no, Brisbane will win that game because morally, they actually want that game more than Cowboys. They know Cowboys are awful and they've beaten them 2 million times. What they struggle with is Melbourne and they always lose to them. So I actually think I might put Cowboys upset alert as their final game. I've never put them as upset alert. I've never backed them in any scenario throughout most of the year. This might be it because I'm still not convinced on Brisbane. And Adam Reynolds coming back, to your point, ruins their offense.
To fuck them over, yeah.
And
I don't think he'll play.
He might. And I just think they've been up for a little while. And the game that they will lose is the one that everyone expects them to win. And that's kind of what happened to Sharks as well. And this one... Even though the spread's only 5, I don't know one person that said, Cowboys are going to win this. And that kind of concerns me because this is exactly what happened to Dragons and Cowboys went and won. And last game at Townsville to see off their season, I'm sure they're happy to be home with their families. And to be honest, they've had a season from hell. And the best way to end a fucking rubbish season is to beat your big brother and essentially take them out of the top 4 race. And look, we've got a lot to say about Souths next week, I know, or in advance, against Roosters, which...
That could be its own preview.
Could be its own preview on its own. But because we don't like Cowboys as much and we kind of like Brisbane, at this point, you love them. The All Blacks jersey will be back.
But if Adam Reynolds gets named, I won't wear the jersey.
But I just think in this case, it's the kind of same concept, so why would I not take the team with the points? Brisbane could probably win, maybe by 2. Maybe they'll lose, but I'm going to take the points, and this will probably get to 6, so I'll take the Cowboys.
I want Cowboys to lose 700.
I want them to lose 700 nil, but Brisbane just... Let me clarify that.
Look, Cowboys, I feel like we have been on the wrong side of them for a little while now. They are not as awful as we have made them out to be.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, defensively, they've shown some signs of resolve that just weren't there as a club for the last probably 18 months. And that has gotten them in a position where they lost to Para by field goal at Bankwest, which there's no shame in that. They beat Knights 500-0, which there's no shame, there's no credit in that really when Knights did what they did. I mean, fuck me. If I was Adam O'Brien, I'd give up as well.
Agreed.
They had the comeback against Tigers last round, which was unlikely, but, anytime Cowboys are involved, nothing's fucking unlikely with these pricks. They did get their ass torn against Sharks when they played a competent team last. And, I feel like this will be more similar to that kind of game. Broncos, they're informed, they've figured things out, they're playing for top 4. I don't think the Cowboys have the troops to be able to go with a talented side like Brisbane, especially the way Walsh and Stags are playing. We've been sitting here banging the drum for weeks of, the Cowboys' backline's about to get exposed. It's about to get exposed. And here comes Braden Burns to fuck us over for the 4th week in a row. But now I think is actually the week where they can get exposed, where they just don't have the physicality, the talent, the athleticism to match up with players like Cobbo, Walsh, Stags, Walsh,
Mariner.
Haas in the middle, Mariner on the edge. If Adam Reynolds plays, I will probably take Cowboys because I just despise him that much. But even if he plays, I think it will be Ben Hunt going to 5'8" and Reynolds going to halfback, which is fine by me. Piakura returns, which is somewhat of a strike weapon on the left edge, and at least it's better than fucking Kobe running out there. And I just don't see why anything would be different of... Like, in my mind, this should be like 8, 9.5. I still think Broncos are being priced as if, they don't have Ezra and thing. Like, genuinely last round, if you motherfuckers are going to put Knights 18.5 this week, why was it not 18.5 last week? Broncos and Sharks are pretty much the same team right now. There's nothing different between them. Well, and Knights is something new altogether. But in my eyes, 5.5 is giving a little bit too much love to Cowboys. I think they'll have a go. They'll probably score some points. They'll probably concede a ton of points as well. I'd go full-time 32-24 or something and Broncos and win by 8 or some garbage. In a game that I'm actually not excited for at all. I couldn't care less.
I think Cowboys can win this. That could be my upset alert. Have I put him upset alert this year?
You can just find somebody else to do the pod with you as well. Come the review.
But Reynolds is going to play.
Then I'll take upset alert off you. Fuck Reynolds. Moving on to Sunday. The scene of the crime. PointsBet Stadium are hosting one of our beloved coaches. What might be his finals game.
I miss him already.
He's actually asked for fucking sick leave or something because he's just sick of this team not scoring round after round after round. And you know what, Adam O'Brien, I don't blame you. You had a good run. You are an awful coach. You've got some results with this team randomly. But at the time where the future prospects of this club actually look like there's some sort of building blocks between Brown, Sharp, Ponga, Bradman, these sort of players. Now you've decided to throw in the towel.
It's a good thing.
When it was Crossland and fucking Gamble, you were happy to
that
stay
was when they're winning 10 in a row.
You cunts couldn't score. But now you just this is too hard, which you're right, it is too hard. You can't score. Going to Sharks as 18.5 point underdogs, Chris. There's a lot of fucking points. So that's up there for me. But as far as team list goes,
Kyle is back.
One of your favorite boys is back. Kyle Iro returns to the centers in this one, which sees Calhoun go to lock and Talakai go to the bench. Obviously, we mentioned Cam McInnes is out for the rest of the season with his torn ACL. And we did hypothesize, will it be Nikora in the lock position? I said it should be Talakai. He has probably done the worst of all of those things and picked Calhoun.
No, I don't. I think this is just because it's Knights. I don't think that's what's going to do come finals.
Well, we'll have to see. Adam O'Brien lists the same 17 morons that quit to Broncos.
Oh, wait, is Marju still...
He's 18th man.
Why? So who's playing wing?
So if there's 4 head knocks, he can come on and play wing. So they're running out the Schiller and Fletcher Hunt lineup. Fuck me, Knights. You can't. It's like you don't want to score. No wonder you can't fucking average 6 points a game. Look, I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work handicapping this round. Obviously, getting Dogs at 1.5, getting Roosters at 8.5 or 7.5, whatever the fuck it was we sent out.
Head-to-head.
Head-to-head at $2.80. At some point, I have to do something for me that is just
we're taking Knights.
I can enjoy this. and live in the moment. And for me, that's taking Knights.
Of course
I
it
love
is.
Knights, bro.
We have to take Knights.
We have to take them. Look,
Why would we take Sharks? Gay.
there's no reason for I don't see the incentive for Sharks to go and win by 50. In saying that, there was no incentive for anyone to rape Knights by 50, but it keeps happening. They're awful, but
They might play for Owen Bryan.
they might play for Adam O'Brien. I don't think he's a good coach at all in any capacity, but I feel like the players owe it to him that, you know what, this guy's been here for 6 years. He's coached his tail off.
Do you think the players give a fuck? That's more the concern.
I think they like him. I think they'll have a go. What will the go? Does Knights having a go actually mean anything when they can't score? I think not, but I don't see the incentive for Sharks to go. 18 is a lot of fucking points to lay, right? Like, think about it. Penrith are literally running out a reserve grade team, and their spread is 2 points different to what Knights are running out.
Well, have you seen Knights play? They give up in 20 seconds. I mean, did you watch them last week? They give up like that. Like,
it gets hard out there.
No.
They're an awful team. I'm not debating.
I don't understand why Marju isn't in the team, but Adam O'Brien's cooked, apparently. It's incredible. I actually hope he brings Crossley into the halves next week for one last hurrah. His old offense.
Knights. Gagai's playing fullback. What
else can we ask for?
18. No, I'm good. I'll take Knights. I feel like this is a typical game they're going to lose by 14. They're going to play awful for like 60 minutes. Sharks will probably get a big lead and just fucking mail it in like they do most times they get a big lead unless they're playing Titans.
And Knights will backdoor.
And Knights will backdoor them through Crossland and co.
I agree.
This is literally the least interesting game of the season for casual viewers, but for the BackYourself podcast.
Can Knights win?
No. If Sharks drop a game to them, this is the dumbest sport of the world.
Yeah, no, they can't. It's not possible. Knights
$6.
Yeah, $1.14, just like playing their best team that they could name on paper. That's how bad they are.
At what price moneyline would you take Knights?
$10.
You would take it?
Yeah.
If they gave me 100 to 1, I wouldn't take it.
Nah.
There's no way
They could win. It's Sharks. Well, fuck it up to anyone on their day.
Nah, bro. Not to this Knights team. This Knights team's like inept to another level.
Yeah, I guess.
It's hard to watch. All right. There's really not much more to say. Thank you for your service, Adam O'Brien. We like
I miss you, Adam O'Brien. But we'll do it more in the review of the whole season.
That's a season review job with you. You could get your own podcast. All right, moving on to...
Oh, can we grab him? We need someone tag Adam O'Brien's Instagram if you are watching to this point. Grab him for the season review podcast.
Of Knights.
Of Knights.
We can ask him, why could you still not score?
Explain.
Okay, moving on to the fucking second battle of Queensland.
The
two morons. The Dolphins are hosting the Gold Coast Titans at Suncorp Stadium because they refuse to play at Redcliffe. 5.5 is your point spread with the following changes being made.
They made changes.
Cody Nikorima conveniently returns at 5'8" after he was a late withdrawal last week with illness, which sees Jake Avarello move to centre. Max Fee and I make way.
Thank God.
Lamelu starts in the back row in the place of Fini Fuiaki, who is out with an ankle injury. Oblix Tawa is the new man on the bench. Des Hasler, shout out to you. It's been a tough 2 years at this fucking...
coaching these idiots.
Disaster of a club, but that doesn't ruin your legacy in my mind, mate. You've had a great run. You deserve better than this.
I'll grab him for
He's been announced that this will be his last season at the helm, but he is running at the same 17 dingoes that went down to the Warriors in round 25 as he looks to leapfrog the Knights, who will probably get annihilated before this game. 5.5. Is there a chance that the Titans, after this round ends at 6 p.m., and we begin our review of this great round, that they are no longer last on the ladder? Or will they go and give up again?
Cricket score.
Really?
Yeah. Titans, they're playing the worst opposition you could play. You know, Titans, I don't have the stats at hand. They have the worst red zone defense, I think, of the last 15 years.
As in, when the opposition gets in their good ball, they just fucking capitulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, in 99% of scenarios, I'd be like, at least I know you cunts are going to score 24 at the other end, which I do in this case because it's Dolphins. I'll give you 30. I'm concerned when they get the ball because, like you said, when Nikorima's there, it's minimum 30 with these cuts.
Yeah.
And against the worst defense in the 20-meter line, I'm good. Actually, you said this in the review, so I'd love to know. What's the overs?
54.5.
Is that it?
It should be 60.
It should be 60. It's these two. Dumber.
Yeah.
Like,
They can't set the total high enough. This is
you need
ridiculous.
to beat Dolphins, you need a resemblance of like being able to get a stop.
Yeah.
It's like NFL.
Yeah. It's like
You
playing
need your
Kansas
defense to
City
do
or
something.
Yeah.
And in this case, I don't think Titans like. And because Fuller's at full, they literally like, who's Hammer matching up against Kelly? And Jojo Fafita on the other side of Avarillo. They're awful. Like, it's not that they're awful, it's just that defensively, like, they're just going to let 50 tries in. And like you said, the ins for Dolphins last week were actually good. But there he is again, Kitty. I think Titans won't come. Actually, I'm coming around on Titans not coming last because I think they might win the last game. But this one, like, not that I even give a fuck about the narrative. I think it's just an awful matchup for Titans. Like, it's the worst team to play. Because these cunts, like, what we've seen from them is they can score. And Titans, like, I don't think their defense is even close to Manly's. Last week, like, at least Manly, like, pushed Dolphins away.
They did.
And that Dolphins team was without Nicarima. I'm good.
Titans are more likely to push Dolphins into their own try.
Yeah, exactly.
5.5 to a team that Dolphins are 5-point favorites, conceding 54 points a game in the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, I know. It looks awful.
But
Titans
are like, how can anybody go out? Like, cost of living's high. Wages are not matching the rate of inflation in this world. Most of you guys have 9 to 5s. How can you go put a 40-hour weekend and be like, all right, after I pay my rent, my utilities, my groceries, my petrol, I go out and buy a couple drinks, there's another $100 gone. What's left of my paycheck, I'm going to go put it on the easy morons. How can you
less
do it?
than a try. With less than a try.
I don't know how you do it. This team is so bad.
Like,
but in saying that,
oh, come on.
I can see Titans winning.
Oh, yeah, I can.
I can see them winning.
If Dolphins have the pressure.
I think last week you said, like, whoever had the ball more just ended up winning in the Manly game. I feel like that's actually not giving Manly enough credit for actually holding these cunts out when Dolphins did have the ball. This week is the literal, like, exemption of whoever has the ball more is just going to score more points and win.
But in saying that, Dolphins last week, like, at the time we recorded, we thought Nicarima was playing, so I did say it, but, like, Nicarima, like you mentioned, is a fucking big loss. And he's back from illness.
Okay.
That scares me.
Realistically, how many can Titans concede to this variation of Dolphins? With Trey
same
Fuller?
as last week. Same what Manly did to them.
58.
These cunts, yeah.
Yeah. But
because they're better than when they played them before, because they got their forwards now. Which they had last week, but they just fucking can't defend. So they're barely like...
But then, like, is the Dolphins' inability to defend going to open the game up for Titans and give them hope?
It will, but I don't think the other end is going to show any resistance. Like, Titans are typical. They could lead this game 20-0 and lose the game fucking 50-20.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because as soon as Dolphins get the ball, it's like... These guys are like chasing ghosts.
Fuck Titans. I'll blank 5.5. Fuck this team.
They're finished.
Christian Wolf, obviously infamous for watching the Back Yourself podcast. He came out and they were like interviewing the players and they were like, oh, what was his reaction to the last round? They were like, he actually fucking flamed us. He was like, can't. You can't concede 58. Wake up. So I feel like you will get a response out of the Dolphins boys. The Titans cunts mentally checked out after their fucking second win against Knights. They were like, all right, that's it. We've done our job. And they will eventually come off the bottom of the ladder, but it won't be this round. It will be the next week.
Yeah, I think it's next week too.
The more I think about this, I think you are strong-arming me that, I can't even picture, like, Dolphins playing the ball in the Titans' 10-meter line, they may as well just start adjusting the scoreboard.
Yeah, I know.
Between Fuller, Hammer Time, Nicarima, Katoa, and Jeremy Marshall-King, they'll literally concede every single time Dolphins get
all I'm going to say, if Marshall-King scores, cash out.
Yeah, cash out.
As soon as he scores, they give up.
He's gonna pass this time to fucking Lamelu.
The thing is, Titans, like, we know Dolphins in periods of the game will give up, but then they wake up again.
Titans
in that wake-up period will concede 20 points for no reason.
No, when they slept last week, like, it was insane.
Yeah, I know.
To play Warriors back into form like that is just so bad. Which puts a bow on round 26.
Second last round.
I don't know. I feel like it's a I anticipated a lot going into this week, but because of fucking Penrith, the shit cunts resting everyone, it kind of has made for a bit of a low spot. If I was to ask you what are the three things you're most keen for, what would you answer back to me?
Melbourne Roosters game of the round. All implications rely on that game, and I feel like for me, doesn't make sense that Roosters are underdogs right now, but it is what it is. You cunts are off them.
I know what the issue is.
What?
Souths aren't playing.
Yeah, well, I miss Souths, but we'll save that for next week. Dragons, Manly, Zarafos brothers. I know you cunts. I think you cunts have a grand final that day, but probably the most important game that you guys go to at Cogra. It's going to be a fucking cracker, regardless of what happens at Pickham. And I want to say, like, encapsulating all this. Dogs, you can't still have 4 reserves. I would not put it past them if some of them play come fucking Thursday. So if you haven't got the -1 or you haven't got head-to-head on Dogs, rest assured, because the bookies will also fall. They will fall to the spite of Bulldogs because they want the dagger into the bookies' eyes. So I'll take 20 because I don't think it's going to be 20 on game day. The reserves include Turpin, includes Sexton.
Gross.
I think it includes one other dick. I would not be surprised if they come and named on Thursday. Matt, you can let us know if they will be. But since Penrith has done this, there is no reason at all to go fucking play everyone. Even if Burden is the only one out and, I don't know, Kiraz or some shit, give them a rest. Why? There's no reason to. Just fucking rest them. Yes, they're going to rest next week. It's not going to be a big deal. You can't going to go to Melbourne and get raped anyway, so that's your start-up regardless. Yeah. So I think use your reserves. That's why they're there. I know you couldn't fortunately do what Penrith did, and not that you want to. You still want to win the game, but you have the option to rest a few players because if you lose this, even without Burden, even without Kiraz, you should be shot on sight. So
yeah, I agree.
I would roll the dice and rest a few stars. There's no reason for them to keep playing and fucking killing themselves against Riff, not even Enrith.
Your other two?
Oh, well, top of the obviously Roosters, Melbourne game of the round, and Dragons, Manly. A very good watch.
Very good. Love your work, mate. On my side, I'm very intrigued actually for Waz and Para because I feel like it's a low-key danger spot for the Waz, but I do expect them to win. And do I want them in the top 4 at the end of the week? Not really, but I expect them to be there, so we'll see what happens. Roosters, Melbourne... Probably the only game of this slate that's actually worth paying attention to, besides Knights. Roosters, I can't even imagine what this guy's going to say about you cunts if you lose. Like
job's done.
It could break the Guinness World Record of the fucking just despicable performance. Because I'm trying to think of how they would go out there and lose, and it's just like
it's only one way.
There's only one route, and that's one-upping themselves from last week. 27 errors. Which I know they're very capable of, but 100%. I believe in you. And just...
Knights.
I have to take Knights. It doesn't feel right to not take Knights. I'm really glad I didn't take them last week because they are awful, but I think they might go and lose by 2.
Yeah, I think they'll lose by 2 too.
Which would be like the funniest shit to watch.
Pinnacle of these cuts.
Oh, for sure. And honourable mention, Dogs. If you can't concede more than 4 points, I actually might nuke you cunts on the review. It's fucking Riff, not Penrith, Enrith, Nerith. It's just Riff. And they literally are fucking 20 and a half. Just put them away, you cats.
They scored 8 with full strength, so what's your excuse?
Yeah, well, anyway. That puts a bow on things. Appreciate you guys showing us love and support. Hope you guys enjoyed the round. Hope you're on Dogs 1.5. If not, wake up to yourself and get on Premium. And we'll catch you guys 5 days from now in the review, which probably will be a fucking big one because there might be some early talks moving into the final round of this NRL season, which can smell the footy finals around the corner. Let's fucking go. Peace out. Gamble irresponsibly.
Peace.